The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanGray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided that I am going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. We made different playlists for all the things we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 4, page 180. And today's day is Wednesday, August 30th, and it is 9:49 a.m. Before we start off with the topics of the day, we always start off with screen time. That is when me and Melissa check our phone to see how much time we spent on it last week. So every day last week, I spent an average of 7 hours and 33 minutes on my phone each day. So my highest usage day was Friday for 9 hours and 1 minute. And my most used app last week was YouTube for 11 hours and 17 minutes, then X for 10 hours, and then Instagram for 6 hours and 24 minutes. Surprised me that wasn't higher. I picked up my phone on average 135 times per day. My most pickups was Sunday, which was 202, and I had 947 pickups all of last week. My first used app after pickup was Mail. What was your screen time like last week?
I was on my phone on average 6 hours and 22 minutes per day, which is down 13% from the week before. I was on TikTok for 13 hours. I started live streaming, I started live streaming on TikTok from my personal TikTok and from the Candle TikTok, so that's why it's so high. My Instagram, I was on it for 6 hours and 15 minutes. I used my camera for 4 hours. Gmail for 2 hours. I picked up my phone on average 127 times per day, I think. 146 times on average. My first used app after pickup was Messages, then Gmail, then Music, and then finally Instagram.
Now for our subscriber check. So on the Candle channel, we are at 529 subscribers. And on our main channel, we are currently at 6,579 subscribers. So first thing on tap for today is I wanted to say or give a shout out to Maxine. If y'all been here for a while, y'all know of Maxine. Y'all might have heard us talk about her. Y'all might have seen her in the comments. She was flipping a house. I don't know when she started. I think it was after us, I believe. And I think it was pretty recent, maybe the last year, maybe even a little bit less. She just sold the house, and she sold it for $40K over asking. So listen, anybody that I see that's doing real estate and doing well, I always give them a shout out, just because I've been through it. I know all the nonsense you have to deal with when it comes to that. One of the things that she said was that she ended up going over budget for her deal, but I think she sold $40K over asking, maybe. I feel like she said in 2 days or something. So that's always incredible to see. Like I said, knowing how much goes into it, having to keep the house secure, having to deal with contractors, having to deal with different prices going up, you're not being able to find different items from different stores and not there on time, and probably dealing with the bank and the financing. It's a whole slew of things that can go wrong, especially when flipping the house, which is pretty much rebuilding one that's already been built. Shout out to my guy Tori, because from what I've heard from him, best way right now to do it, might not even be just right now, just in general, is new construction. You are not worrying about a pipe that was supposed to be working that you not have to dig up, because I feel like when you have new construction, or this according to Tori, when you have new construction, the prices are pretty much what they are. So you don't come in with a budget and go, okay, I'm going to spend $40K on this renovation, and now you go and check and the basement has mold in it, or the roof needs to be repaired, even though you didn't see that at first. With new construction, it's like the house is going to cost me $150,000 to build. That's including all the new piping, the roof, that's including foundation. Everything is built from scratch. There should be no surprises that come up unless somebody messes up on their job. It's interesting to me because of the skill set that I think is required in it is not what I believe most people think is required for it. I thought it was a numbers thing. Once you get the numbers, you get the person to do it, you're pretty much good. It seems to be a little bit more than that, because once you get the numbers, you can have a deal that's worth $100,000 or $200,000, but if you have a $205,000 problem, now that whole good deal is gone. So I really think that it comes down to the people that you're working with, and honestly, I think that's the most important thing. And I was just watching a podcast with Layla Hormozy with her talking about it. And for me, it's very important to hire the right people. I am working on having the experience and knowing who the right person to hire is. For me, I think that what I've been working on is asking the question that I have in my mind. That's kind of what my mindset has been, just because I hate when I leave a conversation with someone that we're trying to hire and I'm thinking I could have asked them that question, or damn, I wish I would have said this or said that. So it also allows me to understand what's going on within my sphere of influence. So if I know, I'll use flipping house for example. If I know that the floor has to be leveled, right? Use that for an example. And the guy tells me that it's leveled, right? I think my natural response would be, well, how do you know? Can you show me that it's leveled, other than just tell me that it's leveled? And prior, I've been known to not really ask that question, because I go into it thinking okay, you're better than me at this thing, so I'm gonna just pass it off to you and you do it. That's why I'm hiring you, so I don't have to be coming behind you to check what you're doing, right? However, I think by me asking little questions, it weeds out people, not because of what they say necessarily, but how they respond to it. I think that their personality and how they approach a job comes out in their response to a question. So if I'm asking what I think might be a simple question and they get frustrated with it, or they seem like they're kind of coming off as kind of scammy, or they might even respond in a very graceful way or an educational way, I'm like, okay, I think that I can kind of see what kind of person you might be working with. So that's something that I've been working on. However, the problem now comes into knowing which kind of person is good for each particular job. And I think that that's a really hard skill to learn without volume, because you have to know what each job would require. So like I said, I may think that, okay, I'm somebody that's good at numbers. Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah, I think it's less hard as I think about it, because I was going to say that someone that's good at numbers, I may say, hey, I need your help with this flip, but they may find the right deal or crunch the right numbers, but they may not be good at the managing the people part. So I would have to then find somebody who's good at managing people. But as I'm talking about, I'm just kind of working through it. What is the good manager for a real estate job? Is it someone that's really hard nosed? Is someone that's really casual? Is someone that's really anal about their work? Is someone that has experience in it? How much experience? I think I would probably go with experience. I think experience is probably the best thing to hire for. But then it's I'm telling you, this is how much experience can I afford to pay for? I can't afford to pay for top experience. I can't afford that. So do I pay for the most experience that I can pay for? But then what's that number? So I'm thinking I should probably come up with a number for experience, right? Whatever the budget might be to hire. If we're still talking about real estate, someone that knows, has experience in it. They give me a price, and I think finding a price that's slightly outside of my budget, I think that's a decent way to look at it. If again they have more experience, if someone has 5 years of experience and they're charging $1,000 a day for experience, I think that I should find someone that has 15 or 20 years of experience that's charging $1,500 a day. Even though it's outside of my budget, I think that the payoff comes later as opposed to being on the front end. So I think that's something I would try and implement or internalize, just with even the candle business, just in life. I think that's really important to do. But like, again, 100% shout out to you, Maxine. I'm curious, I didn't even ask you this when you had told us, are you planning on doing another one? Like, where would you do it? What did you learn from it? How would you change, or would you change anything on the next one? So, shout out to you again for that. Now, next thing on tap for today is, so y'all know that we are currently on EBT food stamp SNAP benefits, right? So Melissa and I both get like $200+ a month separate, and it's been good. Other than the last month, they had not sent me any of the benefits. So I've really been trying to just, again, work on myself and just do the things that don't need to be done. So one of those things were going to the EBT office, right? They were supposed to have given us the $250 or $280 last month, and they didn't give it to us. So it was going on like 2-3 weeks now, and I'm like, it's 2 or 3 weeks past the date that they said they were going to give it to us. So I'm like, okay, I have to prioritize this because it's technically money, right? So when I went to the EBT office, I had to this is what I told myself. I'm like, listen, two things are gonna happen. Either they're gonna tell you, hey, you didn't qualify anymore for whatever reason, because what they gave me originally was just a one-time payment. So that's option number one. Option number two is they say, hey, there was a mistake and here's the money. So if option number two is the one that they go with, then that means that my trip to the office was worth $250, right? So that's the kind of mindset that I've been trying to operate in, is how can I compound this money into more things going forward? That's just kind of what my outlook has been going on for the last 2-3 weeks at this point. So I ended up going over there. I sat in the office. Now, it's honestly, this might be my first time going to the office, an EBT office, and it's definitely an interesting crowd of people. Like, it's definitely just characters. There's a lot of characters that are in there. But luckily, I got there early, and they were able to see me without having to wait like 3, 4, 5 hours or anything like that. So when I went up to the front desk, yeah, there's a lot of characters in there. I went up to the front desk. I talked to the lady, and she had told me that, there was a mistake, and she thinks that they actually were supposed to send it to me. No, she thinks that they sent me the first amount at like the end of the billing cycle, right? The emergency benefit payment. So because of that, they didn't send me the payment for that month, right? So they ended up paying me for that month and for this month. So that was like $500 worth of food that we could buy. And it's crazy to me because I think that SNAP is like, it's a very important thing for us and for me, because it cannot be spent on anything other than food. And that's really important because my brain, no matter how much I try, I mean, I can't even say how much I try. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. If we have $1,000, right? And it's like, okay, should we buy food or should we pay for something that's going to make us more money? My brain cannot justify paying for something that's not going to make us more money. My brain just doesn't do it. So whenever those crossroads come up, I'm like, okay, this makes us more money. This does not. It's an easy answer to go with the thing that makes us more money. That's like every single time. With this, it doesn't matter. Like, the food has to be paid for. Like, otherwise we like, I can't buy anything else with it. So with that, I realized how much $500 is when it comes to food, because we were sitting here thinking, what can we even buy with all of that money? Like, how much food can we get for $500? We don't even need that much food. And honestly, I got $500. Melissa's gonna get her something in like a week, so that'd be like $700 on food. And we're just sitting here, and then I'm gonna get paid the week after that again. So it's like almost $900 on food to spend in maybe 5 weeks. And I really have no idea what to spend it on. So we're just like, okay, let's buy harmless coconut water. Amazon takes SNAP, EBT benefits, food stamps, whatever. They take it. So we're like, let's go to there, get some water, Fiji water. Let's go to Trader Joe's, get all the food that we want to get, all of the fruit, get all of the cereal, get all of the chips, get all of the chicken, for everything. Like, it's insane to me. And I think because I was never obviously in the position to be using it before, because I was younger, right? So if my mom had it, I wasn't the one that was like, oh, let me go swipe the card and go look for food. But in the last, I'm gonna say maybe 15 years or so, maybe 20 years roughly, there are probably way more prominent grocery stores that accept it, that I don't want to say didn't accept it before, but probably just weren't around. Like, honestly, let me see, when was Trader Joe's started? So Trader Joe's was founded in 1967. So right, so you see, when did Trader Joe's founded? When did it come to New York? This says the first Trader Joe's in New York was opened in 2006. That was their first Trader Joe's. I don't even know if they accepted EBT back then. So between them, Amazon wasn't even really doing food. There was Whole Foods wasn't that big. So now I don't know what grocery stores were available back then that had high quality food that you could also use your benefits on. So we could get the healthiest food with the benefits, which is crazy. Like, we could get the highest quality food from Whole Foods, from Trader Joe's, from Amazon. Like, Amazon, we could order it online from Amazon and have it delivered to us. That's crazy. So to spend $500, $700, $900 on food is ridiculous. So we've been trying to figure out how to spend that over the last 2 weeks. But again, the main point for me is that I'm really in a season of compounding. It's just keep compounding the things over and over and over again, because at some point it'll grow to a place that pays us more money, or it'll give us something. We just have to keep compounding. And I think for the most part, it's been working. We were able to buy, like, one of our suppliers had a discount on the vessels. So right now I'm heavy on money and resource allocation. I'm very heavy on that. So what I've been doing is, once you sign up for them, they have like a 20% discount they give you, right? So what I've been doing is I'll make a new email or new phone number with Google, use that to get a 20% off. They already were having a 30% off sale, so I just went and got a 50% discount. And then because I use it on my old account, I already had points to still buy more stuff. So instead of paying like $200 something for the vessels, I paid like $107 to get 60 vessels. So like I said, now that money saved up that we have left over, could take that and put that into buying sample cars, so we don't have to worry about the sample cars. They're not all equal to each other. So pretty much what happens is, if we're using like a Staples, or we're using like something we got in the house, sometimes it might be misaligned, sometimes there might be a yellow dot from the printer, sometimes they like to bleed. A lot of different things happen with them. So we can get something that's more consistent. We have the money now, we went and bought that. Also, we bought luxury alcohol, right? So this is something that we bought from the supplier. Now we are able to have leftover money to buy these things. And I talked about this in the last couple of podcasts, where every dollar is important because of how low the cost is for the product that we use. So if I need to make perfume, right, then it's $23 to buy it. $23, that's an Uber, right? That's a snack. That's food at a not even a restaurant. It's like regular. That could be lunch or something, right? But if we can now buy that alcohol early enough, that bottle can make us hundreds of dollars. So one bottle of that perfume, if every perfume we sell is big from it, we would make $800 to $70 per bottle of perfume. So that $23 could go to one Uber ride or one day of food, and we just lost out on a possible $800, right? And the real thing, or the real component to it, is that we have a lot of different items that fall into that category. So we may not, if we spend that money somewhere else, we may not be able to buy the sample cards. And somebody don't have a sample card. Now we're like, damn, I really want a room service sample card. That person might come back and buy a candle based off of that card. Now we don't have the card to give them, right? So I just been, like I said, really focusing on compounding that over and over and over again to get us out of the situation that we are in. So like I said, that has been the EBT saga right now. So we have it back. We're making up. We are buying groceries. We don't have to argue about that. Funny enough, the last week that we had, right before we got the benefits back, we had got to argument about groceries, and we haven't had to argue about groceries because we're not paying for it. And like I said, because it has to be spent on food, I can't say anything. I can't be like, oh, we have this bill coming up, or we have this fair coming up, or we need this inventory. Nope, it has to be spent on food. So that's been a really good game changer for us. Now, what's supposed to be a great game changer for us is Honeycomb, right? I know some of y'all are familiar with it. Those who are not, it is a crowdfunding platform similar to Kiva, similar to GoFundMe, similar to Indiegogo, right? So how those work is people who want to invest in your business but don't want to invest thousands of dollars, they can just send you $25 or $100 or $20, and it's a volume game. So how many people are going to donate or invest, not donate because they're going to get the money back, are going to invest in you, and then that accumulates into making whatever your goal is, right? So the difference with Honeycomb is that it's more business oriented. So because it's business oriented, the people on there have more money to allocate to you, which means that you can have a large amount of money to get. Now, we had a little snag earlier in the year because of our credit. So they were saying that we would need a 600 credit score to be able to join the platform. At the time, I think mine was like a 4 something. Melissa's might have been a low 5, maybe high 4. And we're like, okay, what's the plan? So I was talking to Tori. He had told me he has a credit person that he had used for the house. I'm like, bet, let me hit them up. And this, again, it's so crazy when it's all about knowing people and having the right team. So I hit up his credit person, right? So now we're paying them to repair my credit. The goal is to only get to $600 credit score. That's it. The goal is 600. And the girl the woman who had told that to laugh, she was like, what? No, that's crazy. Like, we don't even, come on. Like, we do mid 7s, like high 7s, low 8s. Like, if you're working with us, that's the plan for you. I'm like, listen, that's cool and all, which is, again, great. But I just want a 600. We already have a plan, and we have a play we're trying to work right now. If you give me to a 600, we can start there, and everything else you do after that is just bonus points for you. So you can guess how surprised we were when we get an email from Honeycomb saying that they have this new program out. And the new program allows you to get on a platform with a lower credit score. So they want you to take like a credit repair course or a credit information course, something like that. And Melissa took that course same day that we got the email. It was probably like, I think she said it might have been 20 minutes, maybe to an hour. It took her to complete the course. And boom, now she was literally the first. Once they sent the email out, she was the first person to complete the course. And we was in. We're like, all right, cool. So now we're emailing back and forth. They're asking us for the documents that they need, what our financial statements are. So Melissa had to go and like make a P&L statement. She had to make a bunch of other documents that we need for them to give us a loan, right? Or get us on a platform. That was what we thought. So again, I'm even more surprised when they start talking about underwriting. So obviously, from the real estate space, I'm familiar with underwriters. They pretty much are just regular people who go, this deal, they don't have good credit, or they live in the hood, or they don't have good education. We're not going to give them, like, that's literally all they do, right? They just try to check and compare risk to whether or not you should be able to get the money. So I'm like, why do you need an underwriter for a crowdfunding platform? Like, that's weird. Like, if y'all not giving us the money, you don't need to look at that. Like, that's the investors on the platform. Like, they are choosing to invest in us. So I believe that this new course or this new thing they came up with was for them, Honeycomb, to be lenders to people. So she says, we're going to hit you back up over the weekend, before the weekend is done, to see what the underwriters say. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get another email, and the person is like, oh man, guys, so the underwriter said that you need to have a credit score of 560 and yours is 530. Tell them, listen to this. And I'm like, the whole point of this was because we had a low credit score. That was the whole point of this whole situation, was like, credit score is low, we're going to figure out a way to help you out. Here's the play. They said, nah, you're still too low. So something just seemed real fishy to me, right? Like I said, my senses are tingling, my spider senses is going off. I'm like, something just seemed off. So I remember, shout out to Gigi, the one that's fixing my credit. I remember looking at my credit score recently, maybe like a week ago, and I'm like, I think mine is higher than 530, right? So Melissa emails them and says, hey, my partner, his is higher than 530. She comes back and goes, oh, we checked his too, it's only a 536. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think it's 536. So I go on TransUnion, the website, like their platform to use. I actually use my free score now to check it. But I'm like, you know what? Let me go directly to them and check what it says on here. So I go on TransUnion, and it literally says that my score is a 567. So now Melissa sends that to them, right? They were responding back and forth immediately. We email them, they email us. We email them, they email us. We email them, they email us. Like, right back and forth. That's what they were doing. So now that we showed them, like, this is an inaccurate statement. Like, the score is not under 560. Now nobody respond. There's been like 2 or 3 days and nobody say nothing. I ain't hear a word back from them. No one is saying like, oh, the congratulations. And they hit us with a little sad face. Oh man, if you could just get your score up a little bit higher, we would be glad to do this for you. Now, like I said, I don't know what their benefit is and where they even got that number from. My only guess would be that they want to somehow prove. There's two things. There are two things that's going on. If they use this to just, that'd be so stupid. But here's one option. If they used us like filling out the course or whatever to be able to bring that to their investors and say like, look, people on our platform are working on their credit, right? That's one option. The other option is we think that they are using that to, I can't tell if they want to just use the fact that people are taking credit courses for the platform, even if those people aren't necessarily getting on the platform. They just want to be able to show like, oh, look, here is our platform, and we had 1,000 people who took a credit course to know about credit. That's one option, even though they're not on the platform. The other option is they just care about money. So they're like, listen, we need to come up with a lower barrier to entry to get more people in here so that we can make more money, right? Because again, Honeycomb makes money off of us posting the listing. They make money off of the transaction fees from the investors, and they also make money off of interest, right? So for them, they don't really care for the most part about someone's credit worthiness. Like, not really. The only reason they care about is because they don't want investors to be upset with them. And I don't even think it's like what do you call them? What's the word? I would call them consumer investors. I don't know. I can't think of the word, but I'm calling them casual investors. Like, they don't want the regular everyday person. They don't care about them. They're thinking about the people that invest in our company, the people that are backing us. We want to show them that they can give us more money to keep growing the company based off of the credit worthiness that we are, quote, showing to people, right? Or showing to them. So they figured to take a lower barrier to entry, then we will just use that and get more dollars from them. That's my take right now. I'm actually gonna check my email and see if they even emailed us back, because I said that might have been 2-3 days ago that convo even happened. Yeah, I don't know, but like I said, nothing is there. But like I said, we will see how that goes. And Melissa, that's another thing that was kind of fishy too. Melissa had asked them several questions when they asked us for, they wanted us to have a co-signer. And we're like, why do we need a co-signer for a crowdfunding loan? That's stupid. So Melissa was like, listen, how much money are you planning on giving us? Like, if I'm even going to try and ask someone to be a co-signer, what's the amount? Because I'm like, it don't make sense to ask somebody to co-sign for $2,000. That's stupid. And if the other person might say, hey, I don't want to co-sign for $500,000. So like, what's the deal? How much we getting? They completely ignored all the questions that she had, and then wrote back in a separate thread. Like, they had to go read the email, say, I ain't gonna respond to that. I'm gonna go write her email into my email address bar, and then write her from there. Whole new email. So that was kind of fishy. So like I said, we're gonna see what the update is. If we do get it, that would be great. We're trying to figure out how we even spend it personally, because we're not really sure. So yeah, that's pretty much the update with Honeycomb. The thing I was gonna say as far as money goes, even if they gave us money, what will we even do with $50,000? Like, if they gave us $50K, I feel like our business is in a place where, I think I know what I'll do with it now after the last 2 days, but we were thinking it's not enough to pay off our debt. It's not really enough to get us out of this position. And the fares that we would have paid for, the due date's already passed. So that's not really an option either. But what I would do now is I would invest in education and hiring people for marketing. Like, for whoever know how to run SEO, who know how to run ads. Honestly, I would also spend the money on trying to make the product better. So that means that having the labels be more consistent, having the wicks be centered every single time, having the process be better, having the packaging be better for people that buy online. Just a lot of those things. That's what I would really focus on if we got the 50K or something in that number. We think for us to kind of absolve us of all sins, we would have to be at 250K, somewhere in that ballpark, for us to be like, okay, we paid off our debt, we can still grow the business, we can move out of this house, and then we'll be good. So that's kind of the number, honestly. So here's what I'm tell you what's been on my mind since I've been working on this compounding thing, right? I'm like, what is there a goal that I'm compounding to? Like, obviously I know I want to get to 10 billion, right? But I feel like in the short term, what I need to have a goal that I'm working towards to compound. And originally I was thinking like 10K, maybe 20K just to have, but I think it will be 250. I think that might be the number that we kind of like compound to, that we're like, okay, we're in a better spot. We have a new place that we're living in. All the debt is paid off. We can actually like breathe. I think that'll be like the first time that we actually get to breathe at 250K. And that's like, well, technically we've been spending money on paying off debt. So I would say, listen, honestly, my main concern is just paying off everybody that lent us money for the house. That's like my main concern. People that lent us money on the house, I want to pay them off. Any other debt outside of that, in my mind, is second. Like, if I had the money to pay for it, but that's like the forefront of my mind. So I think 250 would get us. Honestly, to get to that and pay everybody else off, we probably only need like 90, maybe 100, honestly. So last week's craft fair, right, was terrible. It was terrible. We did like barely 500 on Saturday, barely 300 on Sunday. We barely got $700, a little over 700 maybe, right? We had 2 good weeks in a row. I would say that I was probably operating at like 80%. Like, I know I've talked about standing in front of the table, which I was doing that day, but I wasn't in front of the table 100% of the day, or even probably 95% of the day. So I was probably in front of the table like 85%. So we probably could have gotten maybe another $100, maybe another maybe $150 possibly. But it was so slow. And in the vlog, one thing I always talk about is it worth standing in front of the table for 20 minutes with nobody walking by for that one person who might not even be our client or our target audience? Like, I don't really think it is. So it's annoying because it's like, okay, I'm standing for 20 minutes, one person gonna walk by. That's like, okay, I go sit behind a table, I can get a sale from back there, but I don't think it's putting my best foot forward. So it's kind of just like, it's that vibe. But whenever I ask myself that question, it's like, okay, what's the alternative, Donovan? Would it be like, where would you probably get the most sales? In front of the table? Okay, so what reason would you have to go behind the table? Right? Like, that's kind of how I work through. But then obviously emotions plays a part into where it's like, listen, nobody's even in here. People that do come by are saying no, they don't even want to smell a candle, they avoiding me, different things like that. So those play a role into it. But if I was to go by pure logic and pure what makes sense, it would be standing in front of the table the whole day. Now, like I said, even with me standing there the whole day, I don't think it would have been a good day. We would have did a little bit better because I was in front of the table, but again, it was super slow. Sunday was even worse. Sunday was just terrible. Here's how bad it's going over there. They have a back wall. If y'all may see some of the vlogs, I probably would have seen this wall they have in the fair. It holds about 6 to maybe 7 vendors back there. That whole wall was empty. The entire wall was empty. Not a single soul was back there. When you go through the market, they had another maybe 4 or 5 empty spots. Right? The people that are there are either membership members who have paid and have to be there, or they're semi-permanent people who have just been there for a little bit, but they don't have the membership. They just pay for every week or whatever, right? Here's the problem. Their business model doesn't work that way. Because if I'm a customer, right, and I'm coming here for the craft fair, see what you guys have, y'all pretty much will have the same people every single week. So I know what I know what's in here. As opposed to like, oh, let's go see what they have at the fair. Let's go pop in and see what's going on, right? Then you come in and see all these empty spaces. So now it doesn't even look like a fair. There's no energy in there. It's really just dead. We've been considering just, as I said last week, just not even doing it anymore. I might have said it. I don't know if I said it honestly on the podcast or not. I didn't. I don't think I did. So we're thinking about just going nuclear at the fair, right? Just completely just forget it, because here's the problem that we have right now with the fair. There's a couple problems. One of them is that they want us to pay every single freaking month up front. And when it's 5 weeks, we have to pay $17.75 at the beginning of the month. That is cutting us off at the legs. So we can't even make any move because we're literally taking all the money that we have and giving it straight to them. Like $1,700 2 months in a row to give them is crazy. So that is marketing money that we might have gotten from a loan. That could be funding that we've gotten from Square, or any other funding that we've gotten is gone because we're paying them. They were paying other people too, but like that's the biggest bulk of it every single month. And they're not even doing anything for us to pay for that. Like I said, the place is not busy, so we're not really like fighting for spots. There aren't people in there, so we're not making really any money, and they're just making money off us every single month. So I was reading over the contract, and pretty much in the contract it says that we have a 5-day period before they charge a late fee. That's the grace period. Then if you take 30 days, it's like a 12% interest. So my thing is, let's just not pay it for the month, right? Well, if they allow us to come back every week, we'll just come back every week and try to make the money. If it's decent throughout the month, then we'll pay them at the end of the month. If it's not decent at the month, this will be our last month doing this fair, because they still have our security deposit from us. So they have another $1,400, and we're paying them $1,775 for September, and then paying them again for October, right? And it's just like, bruh, y'all making all this money off us. We're not getting no money. I was doing numbers last week. In July, at that fair alone, we did $3,400. That's terrible. That is terrible. It's awful. That's a terrible thing. That's terrible. So, and then paying them half for the fair is even crazier. So it's not even benefiting us to be there. And I'm kind of happy. Y'all, I guess this will come out afterwards, but maybe I'll put the audio out first this week. The live that's coming out. So I've been working on like a little dashboard for the candle spreadsheet, and I was just looking at how much money we made last year and this year. And honestly, our biggest month, I think, was October. September wasn't even that great of a month for us. Maybe because we didn't do every single weekend, but it wasn't that great of a month. So the only good month we really had was October. So it's like, why are we paying for July? Not July. Why are we paying for September again if we didn't even have a great month? So like I said, if something happens where we're no longer there and they don't want us to be there, then it's fine. We're going to be vending outside anyways and working on our online marketing, because they're just they don't care about us, which is crazy, because it's a little anecdote that happened. They have a vendor that's there who has been there for, I think, like maybe 5, 7, 10 years, something like several years they've been there. They have they pay for 2 spots for the jewelry, and then they pay for another spot for food, like a huge spot they pay for. They have 3 spots. They're paying them every single month, and on the membership, so they pay at the beginning of the month. They implemented some new rule about, we have to have everybody move their stuff back 8 inches so that the aisles are bigger for people to walk by and it's not crowded. They don't have a table there. They have like a jewelry display box that's like it might be 7 to 9 feet long, right? They had them cut up their carpet that they had. It was literally at the baseline of where the space you're allowed to was at. They had them cut that up, rip it off, and then they had to move back that whole display box for 8 inches. And I'm like, why are you, like, you're doing that to them? The people that have been here the most, you're making them do a lot of extra work for no reason. And then on top of the fact that nobody's even in here. Like, it's super dead in here. So what is the plan that y'all have for the people that actually are supporting y'all, right? We don't feel like we get any type of love or appreciation from them, especially when it comes to the marketing thing. They just completely disregard us when it comes to posting in reels and stuff like that. I will literally see them do a whole pan of the market and stop at our booth, and that's the end of the video. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, how y'all do that? So like I said, that right there, to me, I feel like is messed up. So if they don't want us there no more, it is what it is. We're gonna see how this month goes, and like I said, we're pretty much done with them. So now we have the League of Villains segment. Woo! League of Villains, yay, League of Villains.
Hey y'all, I couldn't sleep last night, so I've been up since 3 a.m. I decided, like, since I was up, it's kind of easier for me to work in the night when I do wake up at 3 to kind of get some stuff done. So I was working on resizing the photos that we have for the candles for Etsy, and then around like 6 I was just kind of like, I just want to go outside. So I ended up going to Starbucks. I had a free drink, so I got a drink and I sat down and I got a lot of stuff done for Etsy. I redid descriptions. I added the mission and vision statement. We have that now. I added that to the website, and it was just a lot of reconfiguring. It needed a lot of work, so I was working on that, and I would say that it is like 75% done. I decided to like look at what I did through the mobile lens, if that makes sense, because I was looking at it. I don't know, honestly, I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Excuse me. If people use Etsy more on their phone or if they use it more on their laptop. I'm sorry, let me sit up. Me personally, I know I use it more on my laptop, so I was kind of optimizing it for that. But when I went on my phone, and I didn't know they had the option for you to scroll through all the pictures, kind of like as a thumbnail on your phone, so you can have a product that's in the search results with all the other products and look through all the photos for that product. So I didn't realize that while I was doing it, so I may have to go back in, because I only resized the first photo because I'm like, oh, that's a thumbnail, that's all that matters. So I may have to go back in and resize all the other photos, but it's not as crazy because I have kind of like a standard size that I know if I make it this size, everything is gonna fit. It would just be doing it. So there's that. We have just applied for a temporary street vendor license. I already had one before, so it should be real easy to just get another one. What else? So remember, I did a pitch competition, and I won like $500 from doing it a couple months ago. The same company reached back out to me to say that they would like for me to be in another pitch contest that they're hosting, and the prize for that one is $30,000. So we'll see how that goes. I think that's later on today. I have to double check my email, but yeah, it's $30,000 for that one. And if it's anything compared to the first competition, because we're making sales and because I can speak really confidently on the product and what it does and all that stuff, and I have till September 29th to work on the presentation. So for $30,000, I'm definitely gonna put more effort into it, and I'm really excited to see how that is gonna go. Yeah, we got an order yesterday that was pretty big. Someone bought 3 big candles and one medium size, so it came up to like a grand total of like $170 for 4 candles. So it's just we're doing, like, if we can get one order like that a day, we'd be set, we'd be fine. So I think there's a lot of promise working on the online store. Oh yeah, I forgot. The reason why I'm working on Etsy is because Labor Day is this weekend. Yeah, Labor Day is this weekend, and I want to do a Labor Day sale on Etsy because we had like a really big thing in the beginning of the year, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get all these sales on Etsy, we're gonna be star sellers on Etsy. What I failed to realize was that our account wasn't open long enough, so it's like you had to have hit those requirements within the first 90 days of you being on the platform. So by the time we hit the 90-day mark, some of our orders phased out of the how I explain it, some of the orders phased out of the timing that they were kind of using as a metric for everything. It's very stupid in my opinion, but either way, so we kind of have to restart that whole process again. So I figured if I do like a sale on Etsy, that'll restart the process. And if I make the products and everything look nice for someone that hasn't experienced us in person, they may be more inclined to buy a product, especially, after seeing how many sales we have and all that other stuff. So once again, trying to build that up. Oh, I've also been on TikTok a lot. I know I mentioned it in my Screentime report. TikTok has a function that allows you to go live, kind of like QVC on the shop. So as a shopping experience, a live shopping experience. So I'm trying to kind of figure out a way to streamline that and to make it they have a lot of requirements for that. Like the product needs to be in the frame at all times. You have to be there and engaging at all times. So it can be kind of difficult if you don't really have a setup to easily have that, or I would just have to like sit here with the candle in my hand the whole time, which is kind of annoying. Or I remember I tried to show the website in order to like show what products we have and just the information, and I got a violation because it was like, oh, you can't do that, you can't like try to funnel them. That's not what I was trying to do, but I understand the concept where it's like, don't like try to get people off our platform onto your platform, try to sell it here. So it's just kind of like, how can I package this information, how can I show all the things about the candles while still be limited to just me sitting here with the product, or you know, whatever, having a script, or how to make it engaging. So that's just something that I'm trying to figure out as well. I have the ability now to go live on my personal TikTok, even though I only have 300 followers, which is cool. So I've been using that kind of as a way to also build up a following on that end and trying to funnel people through to check out the Ember Chemical page, or to check out check out the Ember Chemical TikTok, or check out the website and stuff. So that's something else that I've been working on. I fake missed my class this week a little bit. I caught the tail end of it, and it seemed like they were talking about like organizing a business and all that stuff, and patents and trademarks. And it's one thing that I think about these programs is that they really highlight how to do a business, how to start a business properly, right? But there's not like the downside of quote unquote not starting it properly isn't that great in comparison to trying to do everything perfectly, if that makes sense. Like if I listen to what they're saying, like Ember Chemical wouldn't even be a business right now. So it's always kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it kind of those courses may do more harm than good when it comes to people trying to start their business. I really do think so, because you just need to do it. Just figure like step by step, what is it you need to do, what is it you're trying to get to, and just do it. But I'm gonna continue the course because the different people that they bring on have different backgrounds, can have more resources. So it's just a lot.
So the last two things that we have on tap for today is the loan extension. So not loan, is the last two things we have on tap for today is the last two disbursements of the marketing loan. So we're hoping that it's supposed to be like 5,000, a total of 7,500. We already got the first 2,500, and just like 2 days ago, it might have been yesterday, we got a call from some guy that works at some company for running ads and SEO and building out the website and just kind of improving our online presence. And we had a talk for about 45 minutes, honestly, and I think it went really well. The thing I talked about earlier in the podcast about asking the questions, I was able to do that. And one thing I kind of picked up on afterwards from the Layla Hormozi interview was just that having someone to learn from, that whoever you're hiring should be able to teach you something about what you're hiring them for. And I feel like that was what he was saying the ethos was about of that company. They're called Logic Pro, maybe Logistic Pro. Let me see. I think it's Logical Position. So that's how they work. And like I said, I think it was a great call. He said that they really want to have the people that they work with understand how everything works on the back end. And they also do email marketing. So I remember earlier when I talked about paying people, like stretching yourself to pay someone who's better and outside of whatever your budget is. I feel like that's where they are. So they charge their amount is like $750 per month, but then they also have whatever your ad spend is. I think the ad spend they want is like $1,000 minimum, something like that. So that's definitely, like, honestly, that's literally what we were paying for Artisan Fleece to be there. So hopefully they can get us some sales. We have a meeting coming up, and I haven't paid anything. They haven't really seen any scam me. I showed them the Google Ads page that we have. I showed them our Google Analytics, and he said he's gonna look at it, and when we convene for our meeting, honestly, I think our meeting, when is our meeting? Is it tomorrow? I think the meeting is tomorrow. Yeah, Thursday, August 31st. And like I said, one thing I love, and I got this from Alex and Layla, is just kind of the onboarding process of someone that wants to work with you. So I feel like how they did it was very good. One thing that Alex talks about, and Layla, is that just kind of having multiple touch points with the person you're working with. So like, don't leave them just out in the dark. So, you know, we had the phone call. He followed up immediately with when the meeting is going to be, what the expectations are going to be for that meeting, what he's going to give me during the call. He pretty much was just like, hey, you know, this is what we want to do. This is how you're going to do it. You know, he looked at our back end, and he just kind of said what he would change, what he thinks is good, how he would change it. Yeah, I think, like I said, in the meeting, he was asking for a meeting for next week. I'm like, listen, I can do this week. Like, okay, if you can do this week, that's fine. What day works for you? I'm like, listen, whatever day y'all got, the earliest y'all got, let's do that. So we could try to figure some stuff out. Because as we transition out of doing Artisan Fleas, we need to bolster that income with something else. So it'll probably be this and doing fairs outside. So hopefully soon we get that next loan extension from, well, not, I keep saying that. Hopefully we get that next $2,500 from the people that gave us the marketing loan and put that towards this. And then the last thing is, I just think this is funny, you guys. Like, this is hilarious to me. They sent us, the loan company sent us a loan extension for the house. Like, they want us to extend the loan. And it's crazy to me, because I said it before, we really could have, if the house didn't get broken into, we could have still got the house sold. We had all this time. We had all this time, all of it, and they just didn't work out, and that it sucks so much. And I want to know what the house looks like. Like, not enough to go out there, but if someone was out there, I would definitely say, hey, send me a picture of the house, just because I can imagine. I don't even know if they took the doors off or not. So, you know, things happen. In the back of my mind, I'm always hoping that we make enough money. I would want to buy the house back just for nostalgic purposes and being like, yeah, we kept the house, we got it back. I think that would be a great story to tell. But if things don't go in that direction, I won't be upset. And last, I guess that was the last thing. Last thing B is credit score going up, guys. Credit score is on the rise, and it's currently like I said, it's like 567. I told you earlier, and I think they're doing a great job. They got it up like probably 100 points roughly in 2 months. So I'm not mad at it, and we're gonna take that credit score and run it up. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and then you got Melissa Burnett, AnetaBurn. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2023. Listen, the road is still 500K, but I'm not gonna lie, it's looking real rough right now. It's looking super rough. We would have to have a very super viral situation for us to be able to hit 500K by the end of this year. Because even if we went outside and made $1,000 a day, we would probably only make September, October, November, December, 30, 60, 90, 120. We might only make 120K for the rest of the year. So that would put us at about 200K for the whole year, which is a little bit short of the 5. But with that being said, Bamboo Project out.